How y'all doing? Welcome back to another episode of College Ball with Beans. We got to talk about some realignment rumors that are going around right now. So, University of Miami has burned so many bridges over the course of a year. People are sitting here saying, "Oh, Miami to the Big 10, Miami to the Big 10." Miami went and pissed off Wisconsin. They're in a legal battle with the Wisconsin Badgers right now. So I don't think they're going to the Big Ten. And they decided that it would be a smart idea to call out the University of Vanderbilt and their academics to the point where Duke, an ACC team with Miami, called Miami out and said, "Sit down. You've been AAU for about a cup of coffee." So they are on thin ice. Miami is probably going to wind up in the Big 12 orphanage of a conference. So there's that. It's looking like it's going to go, SEC is going to get 2, then the Big Ten is going to take 2, and then the SEC is going to take 2 again, because Petiti in the Big Ten does not want to be seen as the team to take the first shot to kill the ACC like they did the Pac-12. Which means the SEC will be taking the first shot and they will get the first 2 teams. The question is, who are those 2 teams? I hear a lot of people talking about North Carolina, Virginia as the first 2. That's not going to happen. North Carolina and Virginia do not bring the value, football-wise, to be the first 2 teams. North Carolina might be one of the first 2. The rumor right now is Clemson and North Carolina are your first 2 picks. But don't be surprised if the SEC goes Clemson and Florida State for the first 2 picks. They turn around, they let the Big Ten take North Carolina and Virginia, and then the SEC comes back with North Carolina State and Virginia Tech. They will let North Carolina and Virginia go to the Big Ten, and they will take NC State and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech and NC State, great football programs, great fans, pack their stadiums every weekend. They feel like SEC schools. The environments there, the cities they're in feel kind of like SEC cities. Those 2 teams feel like SEC schools. Virginia and North Carolina, honestly, they feel like more Big Ten. They would fit better there. North Carolina has that holier-than-thou attitude. Kind of seems like a Big Ten school to me. Virginia Tech, they bring their lunch pails to the game. They have Enter Sandman. The Virginia Tech, great ad. I can't. That's just the best ad, in my opinion, for the SEC is the Virginia Tech Hokies. The last rumor, the SEC and Big Ten are only going to go to 20. There's a scheduling agreement in the works where the Big Ten and SEC will play each other 1 week of the season. Number 1 plays number 1, number 2 plays number 2, all the way down to number 20. Both conferences are expanding to 20, which means the Big Ten's only taking 2, the SEC is taking 4 teams. With that, will the SEC potentially take Clemson, Florida State, one of NC State, and Virginia Tech, and then potentially for that number 20, do they take Kansas? The Jayhawks are, a lot of people don't like this, but the Jayhawks actually have some natural rivals in the SEC already. With the University of Missouri, that's a border war. That's a big rivalry game in the middle of the country. Gets a lot of eyeballs when that game's played on Thanksgiving weekend. Kansas has a lot of history with Oklahoma, with Texas A&M. It is definitely a team to keep an eye on. The Kansas Jayhawks, don't write them off. They've put a lot of money into their athletics and especially that football program over the last year and a half, 2 years. Built a new stadium. It's a gorgeous stadium. They're right there in Kansas City. You got the Kansas City market. You've already got the St. Louis market with the Missouri Tigers. You get the Kansas Jayhawks. You get that Kansas City market and an awesome rivalry game. And Texas and Oklahoma, along with Missouri, are going to push for the Kansas Jayhawks. They are peers, and Kansas adds a great team to your basketball ranks and gives you a 6-7 win team for football. Gives you another team you can kind of beat up on a little bit, because when you're adding expansion teams, you've got to take teams that are going to take some losses on the football field. You can't add all blue bloods because then one team's going to fall off. So out of the 4 teams the SEC adds, don't be surprised if Kansas is one of them. You got a dominant basketball team, helps the basketball, and then you have to take teams that are going to take L's to your dominant football programs for the SEC. That would be your Georgias, your Alabamas, your Texas, your Oklahomas. You got to give those teams some easy wins, I guess. Not really easy wins. Kansas isn't a horrible football team nowadays. 10 years ago they were, but don't be surprised if Kansas is a team to look out for. But again, I 100% see it going. The Big Ten taking North Carolina and Virginia, and the SEC getting Florida State, Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State. And again, don't sleep on Kansas to the Big Ten either, because Kansas has got that rivalry with Nebraska, and it gives the Big Ten another team kind of in the middle of the country to help with the travel from the West Coast. So don't be surprised there either. Kansas is a team to watch. Team to watch for sure. If I'd have told you that 5 years ago, you'd have called me an idiot. But that's fine. Kansas turning it around. Final prediction here. Kansas, I'll say Kansas winds up in the Big Ten eventually. But right now, Big Ten's only going to add 2 for now, and that's going to be North Carolina and Virginia. SEC's adding 4 for now, and that's going to be Florida State, Clemson, NC State, and Virginia Tech. The arms race is on. If Miami wanted to make it to one of the Power 2s, they shouldn't have poked the bear and pissed off too many teams. And Miami already was disliked in the SEC anyway. Them taking shots at our precious geniuses up there in Nashville known as Vanderbilt, that's just a line too far for the SEC. You're not getting in talking shit on Vandy. But the Big Ten might get desperate enough to take you. Who knows? As always, like, subscribe. If you like the video, hook 'em.